actually looking to do another project to do with women. But then I came to the realization that there's this gap in trying to understand men and understanding where men come from with some of the things that they do. What are men about, and what are men's issues, and what do men have to go through, especially in a largely patriarchal society like ours. And so I decided that this project would be focused on Ugandan men. And so that's what this project is about. It's basically seeking to engage an audience or these men about their past, indirectly or directly, mentally, physically, emotionally, and you as a viewer, I guess. What is manhood for you? Like, define manhood.
So that's a complicated question.
Not pulling out and meaning is.
We shy away from what the actual definition of being a man is, and then suddenly when people tell you to do something, they're putting you under pressure.
You can insult a man by saying, be a man. I think men kind of are in packs, like we need to be seen as men by other men.
But if someone's going to come out as gay, that's a pretty manly thing to do.
I'm a trans man.
Who are you? What are you meant to do? Who are you meant to be to the different people in your life?
Manhood, I guess, in the sense of my grandfather, that was like 3 or 4 wives and several concubines.
You grow into manhood. You grow into that stage where you accept your flaws and recognize them for what they are.
Being secure enough to realize that I don't need to dominate.
If said man is not in some way selfish, I know it sounds strange, but then if he isn't first taking care of himself, he can't really support anyone else.
From the way I've been raised, I believe a man should be dependable. A man, should be a provider. A man should not be scared to show love and affection and care for people.
A man should be able to hold his own. I know there's this whole emancipation thing going on, but men are supposed to hold fort.
It's the ability to be masculine and completely confident in that, regardless of what your occupation is or how much money you make or stuff like that.
A man should not overcompensate to be a man. It should be a very easy and fluid thing.
I think my dad is an amazing guy. He has been a single father to us for pretty much most of our lives. So he has shown us what it means to be a strong man, to be a man that shows his emotions in the right way, to be there for you and for the people around. He's the kind of person who the people around look up to.
One thing my mother told me was that regardless of how you turned out, as long as you're not a thief, your father would love you.
He hasn't been afraid to show me that he loves me. He doesn't say it, but he shows it.
I feel like we were close, like on a level of like we can talk and I can tell him anything. But by the time I got to the age like now when I'm like going through zips that I really felt like I wanted his advice on, like there was no relation. We never really got to that level where you can kind of just like say, oh yeah, this is my buddy. Yeah. I'd still kind of regarded him as my dad.
My dad loosened up after he was diagnosed with cancer. It hit him that, certain things in life are not as important as I thought they were.
I think he has the best advice in the world. He doesn't tell you what to do, but he opens your eyes to see the options and sort of helps you weigh what is stronger.
When I finished campus, he asked me, like I know he had been keeping it for years, so he asked me like, yo, so now that you finished university, how do you feel about me stopping you from dropping out to be a man?
Close. It's not like that white people stuff close, but close. It's the type of thing where we can be in the same room and we acknowledge each other's presence, but we don't necessarily feel the pressure to interact with each other.
My grandfather was that guy. You saw from a distance, he provided for you, did not approach him. He set the rules and then enforced them, and that was it. There were no real conversations, there was no real, engagement. That, but again, I'm told that's the way love was expressed back in the day. It was really physical provision.
That was my hero because I grew up with him being my father figure.
For him to talk to me at such an early stage, noticing that I was different from other grandkids, really was very important for me.
We had the best conversations. The guy always cautioned me and says, you always make time for tea. It was always sad to, to leave.
It's not always you're going to see your dad look like someone's son.
I realized it more now when he had passed. Up until the time he died, he was just like my dad. It was this like abstract thing, and now when he passed, I kind of started to think, oh, like he was actually a person.
Neither man was at all extroverted in terms of their emotion.
My granddad's life at my age was so different from my dad's life at my age. His experiences up until this point, my experience has been so different.
My father's dream is for his son to be better than him.
My father decided to be the total opposite of his father, which is why I have such a great father.
Have you ever told your dad that you love him? Has he ever said I love you to you?
No. We don't do those things.
It's to love.
We sit down, we have Guinnesses, we talk, we crack jokes, and then,
Yet I want my children to freely say that to me. I sort of want my daughter and son to learn that those are words that you can. I would want to get the courage to actually tell him I love you.
When I finished high school, I told my brother I was going to tell my dad thanks for, you've paid my fees and you've got me to you. And my brother said, please do not do this. Please don't. He provides a house and that's love. Don't, no hugs. So I just like pushed it and said, and today I love you. And the next day he gave me 50,000 shillings, which to me meant, please let's not discuss this. In the absence of emotional things, here's money.
It made me want to be more real. I think I crave truth. Yeah, I crave truth. It made me crave truth more.
Feel strongly about the things you believe. Judging from his struggles and all that, you could see the man had, belief. He stayed true to it. Yeah, I'd like to think I'm a gentleman, actually. I'd like to think I work hard. And I love a couple of people here and there.
In the next 4 years, I'm either heading to MD or I'm a few months from it. So that's how ambitious I am. And all this is because of my dad.
It's important to always make time for your family, no matter how busy you are with work. That's always important to be a father, not just a source of finance. Yeah, plans to stay in Uganda, because it has been a dream of mine for a long time to stay in white people land, because it has the unlimited Wi-Fi and the soccer teams go there during the summer, and like all these TV shows you watch about guys in New York going to get coffee and what, and yeah, but then after seeing the fact that dad has traveled to like all these places and he has experienced that stuff, and he still goes back to Kabale and goes to Kisoro and all that stuff, yeah, it's just gain perspective that that stuff's good and you can have that stuff, but then at the end of it all you need to go back.
No, it's pointless.
I'm so severe, but I'm just a big chunky soul.
It's tender and tough.
That's not something that is that I'm afraid of. It's funny that we treat emotional range and what it is one sex is supposed to feel versus what another, as if it's some kind of tangible attribute that you are supposed to have. This new sense of like emotionality and that range of not just being stoic, man. I think that was broken down by my close relationship with my mom. Tears show that you're more of a man.
Yeah, actually, I'm very vulnerable.
More vulnerability than not. Okay. But I'm really tactful about it, so I won't I'll hide it in so many words and stories and whatever.
I believe in dealing with weakness, not showing it.
I do not feel any pressure for keeping my problems to myself. I am comfortable with that. But then you have society pressuring you to do it. thing to be open and express yourself and tell them what's wrong?
It's, for a long time, has been very easy for me to live in a state of denial, you know, like, and I always think to myself, you know what, I can fix that.
I practice self-expression for the good things. I will show you that I'm happy. I will show you, the good things. I don't necessarily show you the bad expression.
If we're going to admit that women and their freedom to be emotionally diverse is natural, we should also be able to agree that it's not unnatural for us to have that same range of emotions, because we're fully capable of it.
Yes.
And just having it doesn't make you feminine. And if it does make you feminine, that should be a compliment, right? It's because you're fully in touch with your entire range of humanity.
For me to accept that I've been wrong has been harder than me pretending like I was not wrong.
I am scared of 4 things in my life. I'm scared of my mother, ghosts, clear balloons, and emotions. Genuinely, those things that most things I can't beat up scare me.
I think many men are the way they are because they're emotionally deprived, and because the standard for raising men for a long time has been you're raising machines, you're going to be hard.
If you're weak, who is going to defend your household? Who is going to defend your family? Who is going to change a bulb, carry a suitcase? Do you think a man showing vulnerability is attractive?
Today, the best rapper in the world, or at least the most successful one, is an emotional rapper.
It's good in the sense that they definitely like respect one another's opinions and whatnot. It's not like dad says something and it goes completely with mom just shutting up. But then it's also that when mom says something, she respects the fact that dad is the head of the house and she brings it in as a suggestion, if not a rather strong one.
Kids are very weird right now, by the way, because they began talking again, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
The best bad days.
I was very free. If I had a girlfriend, I would freely introduce them to my parents, and they actually found it strange.
Boy used to be a lover boy. But shit changes.
For a lot of my early adulthood, I avoided relationships because I always felt like I'm gonna turn into my father, stunting my emotional growth.
Those are things I'm scared about now, that emotional connection. I've seen it almost happen, but then I ran.
I think now I'm sort of suspicious of like someone going, I'm overwhelmed by love, I'm overtaken. Because I feel like that is just the natural way, like that is there so that you mate, and have kids. But then the real work is, do I like this person? Am I going to be able to work through these things?
Finding someone that is more than just your sexual partner. Finding someone that's more than just, someone you can joke with, yeah?
There's that fear of having kids with the wrong person.
This whole happy wife, happy life, that's a mantra that it doesn't work. The two of you need to find common ground, and how you find common ground is really between the two of you.
The last time I actually put a ring on a girl's finger and told her that forever, in the back of my mind I knew this is for as long as you'll have me.
It's very easy for our generation to give up on marriage, on relationships, as compared to our parents back then.
I think it's just sort of put a realistic filter on the optimism that an inexperienced young man like me would have going into love for the first time. I have not done it.
Every time I get in an intimate relationship,
Privacy. Privacy is key. Comes from respect for what you guys have.
that the true measure of a man is how a man treats a woman.
I'm at a photo shoot that has something to do with my grandpa, and I'm putting on a nice shirt. He will be fucking proud.
I'm not going to say that I've done things perfectly, but I know that I wouldn't have been judged. They would have understood that the world that I'm growing up in, the world that I grew up in was vastly different from the world that we grew up in. And expectations change. So I think, yeah, they would have been proud of me.
If he is proud of me, it's something I don't feel I deserve yet.
I think they're fans.
I believe in life, you should be passionate. Find your passion. Because you're only truly alive if you are doing what you love. And I'm doing that every single day. So I'm very proud of it.
Yes. Now more than before. Before I let my own disappointments and shortcomings define me. I've gotten to the point that I'm recognizing those shortcomings for just shortcomings.
Man, like now I'm trying to do things I want while still trying to do things people want me to do.
Like, I'm doing okay, I'm not doing bad. Of course I could put in more effort and stuff, but then there's sleep, so...
I'm happy with the progress I'm making. I'm not there yet.
I think I'm lucky that I don't have as many regrets as I might have had or as other people have had.
In some aspects, maybe. In others, like, I feel like I still have so much to do.
I miss you. A lot. A lot. Thank you.
Thank you for contributing to the man I am today. And I'd love to buy you a drink.
Thank you for always showing me that I can do better. And now I can do better.
You did the best. You did the best you could. And if you can judge shepherds by their flock, judge a father by his children, and we're not a menace to society.
I pray that he finds joy in Christ, because I think that's where I really found who I was as a man.
When you're born, you're given 2 dates. There's the date you were born, and there's the date that you die. Life is what you put in between those 2 dates.
Everyone just wants you to be happy, but society wants you to be good, and not often are those two ever going to meet at the same spot.
Make your own manliness.
Don't be afraid to feel vulnerable.
Fear, it's a wasted emotion. It holds you back from so much.
When it comes to grammar, be like a great grandfather and check your spelling.
Have you ever talked about your father this much?
It's a really interesting project. Like, I honestly expected I'll just walk in, take the photo, and
then bye.
Like it had me thinking a lot about stuff that I never thought about telling my dad or just thinking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really proud that you guys are doing this.
Thank you for being a part. Thank you very much.
J.K. Rowling. Understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only after acceptance can there be recovery.
Do men understand their role in society? Do they understand the pressure that comes with that role? Do men understand that they have to step up, in a lot of things? I hope that somehow this project has been, is a step in the right direction. Have these conversations with your men, with your guys, with your boys, with your whatever, with your father, with your grandfather, with your son, with your nephew, because these conversations are really important.
Father, please don't let me go.